that I will never have my hair cut again. I look as if I'd just been cropped for them in the shop. And I was particularly emphatic in my discussions with my hairdresser, only to cut the ends off. He must have thought I meant the other ends. Never mind. I shan't need anybody to care about so early. 8 o'clock, I declare. I haven't a moment to lose. Fate has placed me with the most particular, peremptory, and punctual of hatters, and I must fulfill my destiny. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Good morning, Mr. Cox. I hope you slept comfortably.
I can't say that I did, Mrs. B. I should feel obliged to you if you can accommodate me with a more protuberant bolster, Mrs. B. The one I've got now seems to me to have about a handful of feathers and a half of feathers at each end, and nothing whatsoever in the middle.
Oh, anything to accommodate you, Mr. Cox.
Thank you. Then perhaps you'll be bold enough to hold this mirror while I finish my toilet.
Certainly. Well, I do declare you got your hair cut.
What? Oh, it strikes me that I've been mowed. It's very kind of you to mention it, but I am sufficiently conscious of the absurdity of my personal appearance already. Now for my hat. Oh, this hat fitted me quite tight before. Luckily, I have 2 more. No. Well, this is rather pleasant. This one appears to me to wobble about rather less than the others. And now I'm off. Oh, and by the by, Mrs. Bouncer, I wish to call your attention to a fact that has been evident to me for some time past, and that is my polls go remarkably fast.
No, Mr. Cox.
It's not only the case with the coals, Mrs. Bouncer, but I've lately observed a gradual and steady increase of evaporation amongst my candles, wood, sugar, and lucifer matches.
No, Mr. Cox, you surely don't suspect me.
Well, I don't say I do, Mrs. B. I only wish you distinctly to understand that I don't believe it was the cat.
Is there anything else you got to grumble about, sir?
Grumble? Mrs. Bouncer, do you possess such a thing as a dictionary?
No, sir.
Then I'll lend you one at once. And if you will turn to the letter G, you will find grumble, verb neuter, to complain without a cause. Now, that is not my case, Mrs. B. And now that we are upon the subject, I wish to know how it is that I frequently find my apartment full of smoke.
Why, I suppose the chimney.
The chimney does not smoke tobacco. I'm speaking of tobacco smoke, Mrs. B. I hope, Mrs. Bouncer, you're not guilty of cheroots or Cubas.
Not I, indeed, Mr. Cox.
Nor partial to a pipe.
No, sir.
Then how is it that my
Well,
room...
I suppose it... Yeah, that must be it.
At present, I'm entirely of your opinion, because I haven't the most distinct particle of an idea what you mean.
What, like a gentleman who's got the eggs, is hardly ever with a whole pipe in his mouth, and there he sits with his feet upon the mantelpiece.
The mantelpiece?
Mm-hmm.
That strikes me as being a considerable stretch, either of your imagination, Mrs. B., or the gentleman's legs. I presume you mean the fender or the hob.
Oh, sometimes one, sometimes another. Well, there he sits for hours and puffs away into the fireplace.
Ah, then you mean to say that this gentleman's smoke, instead of emulating the example of all other sorts of smoke and going up the chimney, thinks proper to effect a singularity by taking the contrary direction?
Why?
Then I suppose the gentleman you are speaking of is the same individual that I invariably meet coming up the stairs when I'm going down, and going down the stairs when I'm coming up.
Yes.
Yes, well, from the appearance of this outward man, I should unhesitatingly set him down as a gentleman connected with the printing industry.
Oh, yes, sir, and a very respectable young gentleman he is.
Well, good morning, Miss Fox.
You'll be back at your usual time, I suppose, sir?
Yes, 9 o'clock. You needn't light my fire in the future, Mrs. B. I'll do it myself. And don't forget the bolster. Oh, and a halfpenny worth of milk, Mrs. Bouncer. And be good enough to let it stand. I wish the cream to accumulate.
Oh, at last. I declare I was in all a tremble for fear Mr. Box would come in before Master Cox went out. Luckily, they've never met, and what's more, they're not very likely to do so, for Mr. Box is hard at work in a newspaper office all night and doesn't come home till the morning. And Mr. Cox is busy making hats all day long and doesn't get home until night. So that I'm getting double rent for my room. And neither of my lodgers are any the wiser for it. It was a capital idea of mine, that it was. But I haven't an instant to lose. First of all, let me put Mr. Cox's things away. Yes. And, oh yes, I really must beg Mr. Cox not to smoke so much. I was so dreadfully puzzled to know what to say when Mr. Cox spoke about it. Now then, oh yeah, to make the bed, yes. And don't let me forget what's the head of the bed for Mr. Cox becomes the foot of the bed for Mr. Box. People's tastes do differ some. Yeah, the idea of Mr. Cox presuming to complain of such a bolster as this.
Who? Why don't you keep your own side of the staircase, sir? It was as much your fault as it was mine, sir. It was as much your fault as it was mine, sir.
Lord, Mr. Box, what is the matter?
Mind your own business, Bouncer.
Dear Mr. Box, what a temper you're in, to be sure. I declare you're quite pale in the face.
What color would a man be who was setting up leaders all night long for a daily paper?
Oh, but then you got all the day to yourself.
So it seems. Far be it from me, Bouncer, to hurry your movements, but I think it right to acquaint you with my immediate intention of divesting myself of my garments and going to bed.
Oh, Mr. Box.
Oh. Stop! Can you inform me who the individual is that I invariably encounter going downstairs when I'm coming up and coming up the stairs when I'm going down?
Oh, yes, the gentleman in the attic, sir.
Oh, there's nothing particularly remarkable about him except his hats. I meet him in all sorts of hats. White hats and black hats, hats with broad brims, hats with narrow brims, hats with naps, and hats without naps. In short, I have come to the conclusion that he must be individually and professionally associated with the hatting industry.
Yes, sir. And by the by, Mr. Box, he begged me to request of you as a particular favor that you would not smoke quite so much.
Did he? Then you may tell the gentle hatter with my compliments that if he objects to the effluvia of my tobacco, he had better domesticate himself in some adjoining parish.
Oh, Mr. Box, you surely wouldn't deprive me of a lodger.
It would come to precisely the same thing, Bouncer, because if I detect the slightest attempt to put my pipe out, I at once give you warning that I shall give you warning at once.
Well, Mr. Box, do you want anything more of me?
On the contrary, I have quite enough of you.
Well, if ever. What next, I wonder?
Oh, it's quite extraordinary the trouble that I have to get rid of that venerable female. She knows I'm up all night, and yet she seems to set her face against my indulging in a horizontal position by day. Oh, now let me see. Shall I take my nap before I swallow my breakfast, or shall I take my breakfast before I swallow my nap? Shall I swallow my nap before I... Oh, no. Never mind. I've got a rasher of bacon here somewhere. I've got the most distinct and vivid recollection of having purchased a rasher of bacon. Oh, here it is! Oh. And a penny roll. The next thing is to light the fire. Where are my lucifers? Now, upon my life, this is too bad, Bouncer. This is by several degrees too bad. I had a whole box full 3 days ago, and now there's only one. I'm perfectly aware that she purloins my coals and my candles and my sugar, but I did think, oh yes, I did think that my lucifers would be sacred. Oh, now, I should like to ask any unprejudiced person or persons their opinion touching this candle. In the first place, a candle is an article that I don't require because I'm only home in the daytime, and I bought this candle on the 1st of May, Chimney Sweeper's Day, calculating that it would last me 3 months. And here's 1 week, not over half, and the candle is 3 parts gone. Now, Mrs. Bouncer has been using my gridiron. The last article of consumption that I cooked upon it was a pork chop, and now it is powerfully impregnated with the odor of red herrings. How sleepy I am. Oh, to be sure, I'd indulge myself with a nap if there was anybody here to superintend the turning of my bacon. Oh, perhaps I will turn itself. I must lie down, so here goes.
Well, wonders never cease. Conscious of being 11 minutes and a half behind time, I was sneaking into the shop in a state of considerable excitement when my venerable employer, with a smile of extreme benevolence on his aged countenance, said to me, "Cox, I shan't want you today. You can have a holiday." Thoughts of Graves End and back, fare 1 shilling. Instantly suggested themselves, intermingled with visions of Greenwich for 4 pence. Then came the 2-penny omnibuses and the half-penny boats. In short, I'm quite bewildered. However, I must have my breakfast first. That will give me time to reflect. I bought a mutton chop, so I shan't want any dinner. Oh, good gracious! I forgot to buy any bread. Any bread either. Huh. Hello, what's this, a roll? I declare. Come, that's lucky. Now then, to light the fire. Hello. Who presumes to touch my box of lucifers? Why, it's empty. I left one in it. I take my oath I did. Hey there. The fire is lighted. Where's the gridiron? On the fire? I do declare. And what's that on it? Bacon? Bacon it is. Well, upon my life, there is a quiet coolness about Mrs. Bouncer. The proceedings are almost amusing. She takes my last Lucifer, my coals and my gridiron to cook her breakfast by. No, no, I cannot stand this. Come on from that. Now then, for my breakfast things.
Bouncer, you needn't be afraid. I wonder how long I've been asleep. Goodness gracious, my bacon! Hello, what's this? A chop? Whose chop? Mrs. Bouncer's, I'll be bound. She thought to cook her breakfast while I was asleep with my coals too and my gridiron. Ha ha! But where's my bacon? Oh, here it is. Well, upon my life, Bouncer's going it. And shall I curb my indignation? Shall I falter in my vengeance? No! So much for Bouncer's breakfast, and now for my own. Oh, I may as well lay out my breakfast things.
Come in! Come in! Huh. Oh goodness, my chop! What's that? The bacon again? Oh, pooh! Zoons! Confounded, dash it! Damn it! I can't stand this! Who are you, sir?
If you come to that, who are you?
What do you want here, sir?
Well, if you come to that, what do you want?
It's the printer.
It's the hatter!
Go to your attic, sir.
My attic, sir? Your attic, sir?
Printer, I shall do you a frightful injury if you don't instantly leave my apartment.
Your apartment? You mean my apartment, you contemptible hatter, you!
Your apartment? Ha ha ha! Come, I like that. Look here, sir. Mrs. Bouncer's receipt for the last week's rent, sir.
Ditto, sir!
Thieves!
Murder!
Mrs. Bouncer!
What is the matter, gentlemen?
Instantly remove that printer.
Instantly remove that hatter!
Well, but gentlemen.
Explain.
Explain! Whose room is this?
Yes, woman, whose room is this?
Doesn't it belong to me?
No.
There! Ha! You hear, sir? It belongs to me.
No.
It belongs to both of you!
Both of us! Ah!
staying home in the daytime, and that gentleman at night, I thought I might venture until my little back second floor room was ready.
When will your little back second floor room be ready?
Why, tomorrow.
I'll take it.
So will I.
Excuse me, but if you both take it, you might just as well stop where you are.
True.
I spoke first, sir.
With all my heart, sir, the little back second floor room is yours, sir. Now go.
Go? Ha, poo-poo.
Now, don't quarrel, gentlemen. You see, there used to be a partition right here.
Then put it up.
Nay, I'll see if I can't get the other room ready this very day. Now, do keep your tempers.
What a disgusting position.
Will you allow me to observe, if you have not had any exercise today already, sir, you had better go out and take it?
I shall do nothing of the sort, sir.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir. However, don't let me prevent you from going out.
Don't flatter yourself, sir.
What are you about, sir?
What am I about? I am about to smoke. Hello, sir. Put down that window.
Then put out your pipe, sir.
There.
There.
I shall retire to my pillow.
I beg your pardon, sir. I can't allow anyone to rumple my bed.
Your bed? Harky, sir. Can you fight?
No, sir.
No? Then come on.
Oh, sit down, sir, or I'll instantly vociferate police.
I say, sir,
Well, sir?
although we are doomed to occupy the same room for a few hours longer, I don't see any necessity for our cutting each other's throats, sir.
Not at all. It's an operation that I would decidedly object to.
And after all, I no violent animosity to you, sir.
Nor have I any rooted antipathy to you, sir.
Besides, it was all Mrs. Bouncer's fault, sir.
Entirely, sir.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir.
Take a bit of a roll, sir.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
Do you sing, sir?
I sometimes join in the chorus.
Then give us a chorus, then.
Oh, well.
Have you seen The Follies, sir?
No, sir. My wife wouldn't let me.
Your wife?
That is my intended wife.
Well, that's the same thing. I congratulate you.
Oh, well, thank you. You needn't disturb yourself, sir. I mean, she won't come here.
Oh, I understand. You've got a snug little establishment of your own here. On the sly. Cunning dog.
No such thing, sir. I repeat, sir, no such thing, sir. But my wife, I mean my intended wife, happens to be the proprietor of a considerable number of bathing machines.
Ha! Where?
At a favorite watering place. How curious you are.
Oh, not at all. Well?
Well, consequently, in the bathing season, which luckily is rather a long one, we see but little of each other. But as that is over now, I am daily indulging in the expectation of being blessed with the sight of my beloved. Are you married?
Me? Oh, why, not exactly.
No, a happy bachelor.
Why, not precisely.
Oh, a widower?
No, not Not absolutely.
Well, you'll excuse me, sir, but at present I don't exactly understand how you can help being one of the three.
Not help it?
No, sir, not you nor any man alive.
Ah, that may be, but I'm not alive.
Oh, you'll excuse me, sir, but I don't like joking about such subjects.
I'm perfectly serious, sir. I have been defunct for the last 3 years.
Will you be quiet, sir?
If you don't believe me, I refer you to a very large, numerous, and respectable circle of disconsolate friends.
My dear sir, my very dear sir, if there does exist any ingenious contrivance whereby a man on the eve of committing matrimony can leave this world and yet stop in it, I shouldn't be sorry to know it.
Oh, well then I presume I'm not to set you down as being frantically attached to your intended?
Why, not exactly. And yet, at present, I'm only aware of one obstacle to my doting upon her, and that is that I can't abide her.
Well, then there's nothing more easy. Do as I did.
I will! What was it?
Drown yourself.
Ah! Will you be quiet, sir?
Listen to me. 3 years ago, it was my misfortune to captivate the attentions of a still blooming, though somewhat middle-aged widow at Ramsgate.
Singular enough. Just the case 3 months ago at Margate.
Well, sir, to escape her importunities, I came to the determination of enlisting into the Blues or Life Guards.
So did I. How very odd.
But they wouldn't have me. They actually had the effrontery to say I was too short.
And I wasn't tall enough.
So I was obliged to content myself with the marching regiment. I enlisted.
So did I. Singular coincidence.
I'd no sooner done that than I was sorry for it.
So was I.
My infatuated widow offered to purchase my discharge on condition that I lead her to the altar.
Just my case.
I hesitated. At last I consented.
And I consented at once.
Well, sir, the day fixed for the happy ceremony at length drew near. In fact, too near to be pleasant. So I suddenly discovered that I wasn't worthy to possess her, and I told her so. When, instead of being flattered by the compliment, she flew upon me like the tiger of the female gender. I rejoiced when suddenly something whizzed past me within an inch of my ear and shivered into 1,000 fragments against the mantelpiece. It was the slop basin. I retaliated with a teacup. We parted, and the next morning I was served with a notice of action of breach of promise.
Well, sir?
Well, sir, ruin stared me in the face. The action proceeded against me with gigantic strides. I took a desperate resolution. I left home early one morning with one suit of clothes on my back and another tied up in a bundle under my arm. I arrived at the cliffs, opened my bundle, deposited the suit of clothes on the very verge of the precipice, took one look down into the yawning gulf beneath me, and walked off in the opposite direction.
Dear me, I think I begin to have some slight perception of your meaning. Ingenious creature! You disappeared. The suit of clothes were found.
Exactly! And in one of the pockets of the coat, or the waistcoat, or the pantaloons, I forget which, there was also found a piece of paper with these affecting farewell words. This is
Penelope Ann? Penelope Ann?
Penelope Ann,
Originally widow of William Wiggins?
widow of William Wiggins,
Proprietor of bathing machines?
proprietor of bathing machines,
At Margate?
and Ramsgate.
Ah, it must be she. And you, sir, you are Box, the lamented, long-lost Box.
I am.
And I was about to marry the interesting creature you so cruelly deceived.
And then you are caught?
I am.
I heard of it. I congratulate you. I give you joy, and now I think I'll go and take a stroll.
No, you don't. I'll not lose sight of you until I've restored you to the arms of your intended.
My intended? Oh, you mean your intended?
No, sir, yours.
How can she be my intended now that I am drowned?
You are no such thing, sir, and I prefer presenting you to Penelope Ann.
I have no wish to be introduced to your intended.
My intended? How can that be, sir? You proposed to her first.
Well, what of it, sir? I came to an untimely end, and you popped the question afterwards.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir.
You are much more worthy of her than I am, sir. Permit me, then, to follow the generous impulse of my nature. I give her up to you.
Benevolent being, I wouldn't rob you for the world. Oh, good morning, sir.
Stop!
Unhand me, you hatter, or I shall cast off the lamb and assume the lion. An insult to my face under my very nose. You know the consequences. Instant satisfaction, sir.
With all my heart, sir.
Mrs. Bouncer!
Mrs. Bouncer!
Bouncer! Pistols for two.
Yes, sir.
Stop! You don't mean to say, thoughtless and imprudent woman that you are, that you keep loaded firearms in the house?
I know they're not loaded.
Oh, well then produce the murderous weapons instantly!
I say, sir.
Well, sir?
What's your opinion of dueling, sir?
I think it's a barbarous practice, sir.
So do I, sir. To be sure, I do. I don't so much object to it when the pistols are not loaded.
No, I dare say that does make some difference.
And yet, sir, on the other hand, doesn't it strike you as rather a waste of time for two people to keep firing pistols at one another with nothing in them?
No, sir, not more than any other harmless recreation.
Hark ye! Why do you object to marry Penelope Ann?
Because, as I've observed already, I can't abide her. You will be very happy with her.
Happy? Me? With the consciousness that I have deprived you of such a treasure? Oh, no, Cock.
Don't think of me, Box. I shall be sufficiently rewarded by the knowledge of my Box's happiness.
Don't be absurd, sir.
Then you will be ridiculous, sir.
I won't have her.
I won't have her.
I have it. Suppose we draw lots for the lady. Hey, Mr. Cox?
Oh, that's fair enough, Mr. Box.
Or, what say you to dice?
Oh, with all my heart. Dice by all means.
That's lucky. Mrs. Bouncer's nephew left a pair here yesterday. He sometimes persuades me to have a throw for a trifle, and as he always throws sixes, I suspect they are good ones.
I've no objections at all to dice. I lost £1, 17 and sixpence at the last Barnet races to a very gentlemanly looking man who had the most peculiar knack of always throwing sixes. I suspected they were loaded, so I gave him another half-crown and he gave me the dice.
Now then, sir.
I'm ready, sir. Will you lead off, sir?
As you please, sir. The lowest throw, of course, Penelope Ann?
Of course, sir.
Very well, sir.
Very well, sir.
60s.
That's not a bad throw of yours, sir. 6s.
That's a pretty good one of yours, sir. 60s.
6s.
60s.
6s.
60s.
6s.
These are not bad dice of yours, sir.
Yours seem pretty good ones too, sir.
Suppose we trade.
Very well, sir.
60s.
6s.
60s.
6s.
60s. Pooh! It's perfectly absurd you're going on throwing 6s in this sort of way, sir.
I shall go on till my luck changes, sir.
Let's try something else. I have it. Suppose we toss for Penelope Ann.
The very thing I was going to propose.
Well, where's my tossing shilling? Ah, here it is.
Where's my lucky 6pence? Aha, I've got it.
Now then, sir. Heads win?
Or tails lose, whichever you prefer.
It's the same to me, sir.
Very well, sir. Heads I win, tails you lose.
Yes. No. Heads win, sir.
Very well. Go on.
Heads.
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 Aren't you rather tired of turning up heads, sir?
Couldn't you vary the monotony of our proceedings by an occasional tail, sir?
Heads.
Heads.
Heads. Stop, sir. Will you permit me? Hello. Your 6pence has got no tails, sir.
And your shilling has got 2 heads, sir. Cheat swindler!
Is the little back second floor room ready?
Ready?
Not quite, gentlemen. I can't find the pistols, but I have brought you a letter. It came by the general post yesterday. I'm sure I don't know how I forgot it, for I put it carefully in my pocket.
And you've kept it carefully in your pocket ever since?
Yes, sir. I hope you'll forgive me, sir. By the by, I paid 2 for it.
Did you? Then I do forgive you. Margate? Margate, the postmark decidedly says Margate.
Oh, doubtless a tender epistle from Penelope Ann.
Then read it, sir.
Me, sir?
Of course. You don't suppose I'm going to read a letter from your intended?
My intended? Pooh! It's addressed to you. C-O-X.
Do you think that's a C? It looks to me like a B.
Oh, nonsense. Fracture the seal.
Goodness gracious!
Gracious goodness!
Margate, May the 4th. Sir, I hasten to convey to you the intelligence of a melancholy accident, which has bereft you of your intended wife. He means your intended.
No, yours. However, it's perfectly immaterial, but she unquestionably was yours.
How can that be? You proposed to her first.
Yes, but then you... Oh, no, don't let us begin again. Go on.
Poor Mrs. Wiggins went out for a short excursion in a sailing boat. A sudden and violent squall soon after took place, which, it is supposed, upset her, and she was found 2 days afterwards, keel upwards.
Poor woman!
The boat, sir. As her man of business, I immediately proceeded to examine her papers, amongst which I soon discovered her will. The following extract from which will, I have no doubt, be satisfactory to you. I hereby bequeath my entire property to my intended husband. Oh, Excellent, but unhappy creature.
Oh, generous, ill-fated being!
And to think I tossed up for such a woman.
When I remember that I staked such a treasure on the hazard of a die,
I'm sure, Mr. Box, I cannot sufficiently thank you for your sympathy.
and I am sure, Mr. Cox, you couldn't feel more if she had been your own intended.
If she had been my own intended, she was my own intended.
Your intended? Come, I like that. Didn't you very properly observe just now, sir, that I proposed to her first?
To which you very sensibly replied that you'd come to an untimely end.
I deny it.
I say you have.
The fortune's mine.
Mine.
I'll have it.
So will I.
I'll go to law.
So will I.
Stop! A thought strikes me. Instead of going to law about the property, suppose we divide it
Equally.
equally. I'll take 2/3.
That's fair enough. And I'll take 3/4.
That won't do. Half and half.
Agreed. There's my hand upon it.
And mine.
Hello, postman again.
Postman yesterday, postman today.
Another letter, Mr. Cox. 2 pence more.
Another trifle from Margate. I forgive you again. Goodness gracious!
Gracious goodness!
Happy to inform you. False alarm!
Sudden squall, boat upset. Mrs. Wiggins, your intended,
Picked up by a steamboat.
carried into Boulogne,
Returned here this morning.
will start by early train tomorrow.
And be with you at 10 o'clock exact.
Cox, I congratulate you.
Box, I give you joy.
Well, I am sorry that most important business of the Colonial Office will prevent my witnessing the truly happy meeting between your and your intended. Good morning.
It's obvious for me to retire. Not for worlds would I disturb the rapturous meeting between you and your intended. Good morning.
You'll excuse me, sir, but our last arrangement was that she was your intended.
No, yours.
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 Yours. Ha! What's that? A cab's drawn up at the door. No, it's a 2-penny omnibus.
A lady's got out.
Oh, there's no mistaking that majestic person. It's Penelope Ann.
Your intended?
Yours.
Yours.
Yours. Hark! She's coming up the stairs.
Shut the door.
Mr. Cox! Mr. Cox!
I just stepped out.
So am I.
Mr. Cox! Open the door, it's only me, Mrs. Bouncer.
Only you? Then where's the lady?
Gone!
Upon your honor?
As a gentleman?
Yes, and she's left a note for Mr. Cox.
Give it to me.
Then open the door.
Put it under. Goodness gracious!
Gracious goodness!
Dear Mr. Cox, pardon my candor.
But being convinced that our feelings, like our ages, do not reciprocate
I hasten to apprise you of my immediate union
with Mr. Knox. Three cheers for Knox.
The little second floor back room is quite ready.
I don't want it.
No more do I.
What shall part us?
What shall tear us asunder?
Box!
Cox! You'll excuse the apparent insanity of this remark, but the more I gaze upon your features, the more I'm convinced that you are my long-lost brother.
The observation I was going to make to you.
Tell me, in mercy, tell me, have you such a thing as a strawberry mark on your left arm?
No!
Then it is he!
Of course. We can stop where we are.
Of course!
For between you and me, I'm rather partial to this house.
So am I. I begin to feel quite at home in it.
Everything's so clean and comfortable.
And I'm sure that the mistress of it, from what I have seen of her, is very anxious to please.
So she is. And I vote, Box, that we stick by her.
Agreed! Here's my hand on it. Joined with yours. Agreed that the house is big enough to hold us both. Then Box
And Cox.
Both are satisfied.
Which will be a twofer. We'll have a two-act thing. It's for Halloween. It's October 29th. And the first act is going to be Nathaniel Hawthorne's Rappaccini's Daughter. And the second is going to be a wonderful play by an American playwright, Jeffrey Hatcher, called Murder by Poe, which has some excerpts of every single thing Poe ever wrote in the script. So have fun. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.